The first South Park episode was actually handmade with construction paper. The creators would move a piece, take a picture, move a piece, take a picture, and put it all together into a video. It took 3 months to create one show. Since then, they're using software to recreate that construction paper look. We can also play around with construction paper and stop motion photography. We can also try to recreate that construction paper look even if we don't have expensive software. You might have Microsoft PowerPoint through your school, and let's look at how we can do a very simple and brief recreation using PowerPoint. Okay, so I have a new instance of PowerPoint started here, and I took a picture of the kids in the video just to have something to go by, and I'm going to try to recreate Kyle using PowerPoint shapes. So first let's draw the head. That's basically an oval. I'll go to the Insert tab. In the Illustrations group, I'll go to Shapes, and I'll select Oval. I'll left click and drag to try to draw the head. And my default color is blue. I want this to be about the same color as this, and I probably don't have that. Let's look at I'm going to go to the Format tab, Shape Fill. I really don't have flesh colored in here, but I can use the eyedropper to pick any color. So I'll hit the drop down, select eyedropper, and then point at Kyle's face with the eyedropper to recreate that flesh look. I think the head needs to be a little bit bigger. I'll left click and drag. Now let's do the eyeballs or the eyes. That'll be another oval inside the oval. And to make that oval exactly the same size for the next one, I'll hit Control C on my keyboard to copy, Control V to paste. And then I'll grab the handle here. To move the eyeballs at an angle, and let's put them a little closer together. And the eyeball should be white. I'm going to left click, and I'm going to hold down the shift key and I left click to select both of them. Click Shape Fill. Let's make them white. And then let's put some eyeballs or pupils inside the eyes. So I'm going to make my view a little bigger here. Down at the bottom, I'll click the plus so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. And then I'll add another oval, but it'll be a tiny oval on the inside. And that should be black. Then I'll copy it. I'm going to use the shift. I'm using the up arrow and then the right arrow to move that into place. Now for the mouth, I'm going to do a freehand draw for the mouth. Well, a freehand shape. And that's this item here, free form. Flat on the bottom. Let go. Click again. Alright, and we'll make the inside of his mouth also dark. And then I could use some little squares to fill in teeth, but we're not going to take the time for those right now. And let's zoom back out. I'm pressing the arrow to make the zoom wider. And let's try to recreate that hat. Notice it looks like a couple of squares on top of his head. So we'll insert a square. Draw it on top of his head. And that should be green. And then we'll insert another square. And that should be darker green. And now we'll add the flaps, and that'll be another oval. Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Then I'm holding down my shift key to select both of them at the same time. shape fill, eyedropper, and I'll select the same color as the top portion of his hat. And those are a little fat. Let's make them a little skinnier. I'm selecting both of them, and then I'm left clicking and dragging to make them a little smaller. And let's move it here and here. Trying to get rid of the white space there. Now for the body and the arms, it kind of looks like it could be sort of squarish. So I'm going to select this square that has the rounded edges. And then just left click, drag and draw. And I want his chin in front, so I'm going to right click on the square and send to back. And now let's add the arms. We'll use another rounded square, just draw it a little skinnier. Control C, Control V for copy paste. Then kind of slant the arms in. And now we can put these together. I'm going to left click. I'm going to hold down the shift key. Left click to select all of those at one time. Go to format, merge shapes, and union. And that kind of puts it all together. Now once we put it all together, that means his arms won't move, or we won't be able to move the arms to make animation, but we're just making a real short animation here. So I'll go ahead and put it together. But now we need a little line here to distinguish. Put a line there. Control C, Control V. And put another little line here. And it looks like his mittens could probably just be circles. Control C, Control V. And then another little circle. And we're going to make those green like his hat. So I'm holding down the shift key on my keyboard. And I'm selecting each object. Shape fill. Eyedropper. Same color as hat. So now he has the green gloves. And let's give him some green pants. These also appear to be kind of a rounded rectangle or square. Insert. Left click, drag and draw. Then I'm going to use the freeform tool for his feet. Oh, let's go ahead and color this first. This is dark green. And then choose the freeform tool. And we'll make that black. Format, shape fill, black. Let's add some pockets. So that'll be a rectangle. And then an upside down triangle. Control C, Control V for copy paste. And then I'm going to hold down the shift key and I'm selecting all 4 objects. And shape fill, eyedropper, and we'll make it the same color as this jacket. So now let's try to make Kyle talk the same way he would talk on Southpark. And we don't need this anymore. And let's put his head together, because when they talk on Southpark, they sort of move their heads kind of side to side a little bit. So I'm going to left click, drag, select all of these, and it didn't actually select the head. So I'm going to hold down the shift key, select this head. So that's all the objects there. Then I go to format, group, and group. So that's all one object. And so what I'm going to do now is he'll start here, and I'll right click on the slide here and select duplicate slide. So for the next slide, let's close his mouth and move his head to the right. Then I'll duplicate. Close his mouth a little bit more. Move his head back to center. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to make several of these. Okay, we've got 9 pictures so far, and of course the more pictures you take and the more subtle you make the movements, the better the animation will be. But let's just see what we have so far. And now we could actually copy those 9 to make the speech a little longer. I'm going to hold down my shift key, select all of these, right click, copy, click under the last slide, control V to paste. Now I have 18. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, it's looking pretty good so far. Let's try to make him move. And if you ever watch South Park, you might notice that they kind of hop and then move. So let's see if we can recreate that. And to do that, I want to move the whole body. So I'm going to select everything this time. I'm left clicking and dragging. And now go back up here to Format, Group. And I'm going to group everything together. You can always ungroup these if you want to do separate things with each part as well. Actually, it's going to need to be a little bit smaller so he can hop up and down. So I'll just left click and drag to make him a little smaller. And now I'm using my up arrow. Well, actually, let's do a duplicate. Right click. Duplicate slide. So in this next slide here, he'll move up a couple of paces. Then duplicate slide. And then he'll move across. Duplicate slide, up, duplicate slide, down, then across. Okay, I'm going to do a few more of those and I'll come back. I'm back and I've added about 48 more slides to simulate walking. And I probably didn't make the movements spread out enough. But as you can see, he slowly moves across the page. But there might be a simpler way to do this. I'm going to go to the last slide, and this time instead of using the stop motion animation technique, I'm going to use animations in PowerPoint. And I'll click animations. I'll select the drop down and I'll select custom path. And now I'm going to draw the path I want him to take. Notice I'm just drawing across and drawing these dips. Then I stop with my mouse and I click escape to end it. And this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to select the animation pane here and then I'm going to play it. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's a little bit too fast. Notice the duration is 2 seconds. So let's change it to 4 seconds and see what that looks like. That looks like about it, but I don't like the smooth start. So let's see if we can turn that off. I'll do a drop down, effect options, and I don't want a smooth start at all, and I don't want a smooth end. Okay, let's give it a try again. And maybe just a tiny bit faster. Maybe 3.75. Let's move the animation pane out of the way and take a look at it. Okay, not too bad, but we can certainly play around with that to get more of a South Park look to it. But that's one way to use your animations in PowerPoint.